exclusive video shows the intense moments before a deadly shooting in Richmond Hill, Queens, just before midnight Tuesday. You can watch as two people wearing hoods which conceal their faces casually walk across Liberty Avenue by 127th Street, while a third paces along the sidewalk. The three then quickly whip out guns and start shooting into a parked car. We are freezing the video before that happens.
How many gunshots do you think you heard?
A lot, like 20 something.
Yo, face! Yo, your face, please, with sugar on top!
Hey, what's up, y'all? Y'all know my slogan. I don't know it all, but I know what I've been through. Now, before we get into this video, make sure you check us out on Patreon at www.patreon.com/Hookah Anonymous _. You guys been telling us to create one for the longest, so we recently created a community where we will upload videos that we can't share on YouTube due to their guidelines. We'll also be dropping the latest to there first, behind the scenes information that you wouldn't find anywhere else on our socials. So make sure you become a member, and after you do that, head over to our official Instagram page at Hookah Anonymous _ and follow us there. Now without further ado, let's get into what you guys came here to see. Now, some of you may remember the story of a young mom who was shot and unalive back in December of 2023 in Queens, New York. 28-year-old Clarissa Burgos lost her life after leaving a nightclub called Escape in the Richmond Hill area located on 127th Street and Liberty Avenue just a day after Christmas. Surveillance video was released and showed Clarissa getting into the passenger side of a black Honda sedan as the driver picked her up from in front of the nightclub. The vehicle would slowly drive a small distance ahead and stay there as if Clarissa and the driver was having a casual convo inside the car. That's when two males would cross the street and approach the driver's side, with another man coming from the shadows of the passenger side and begin opening fire into the vehicle. The car would inch up, but then come to a rolling stop and then speed off from the scene. Reports say that Clarissa was struck in her head once by a bullet and she passed away instantly in the car. The driver of the vehicle would drive straight to the 103rd precinct located 2.5 miles away from where the shooting took place, arriving just before midnight and alerted officers inside that him, along with Clarissa, had been shot. An article from the New York Post would state that the driver was shot at least 6 times in his torso, but was expected to survive. The driver was never identified by news sources, as they only identified him by his age, stating that he was 39 years old. However, the streets would talk, and it would be discovered that the driver was a man from Brooklyn who goes by the alias of Chinaman. According to the family, Chinaman and Clarissa were dating each other, which would explain why they were together the night of the incident, but we will also learn that China was a targeted man in the streets and may have had a hit put out on his life. Flaunting large amounts of money on social media, many believe this may have caused someone to try and take his life, but instead, they would end up taking the life of the wrong person. When everything first transpired, everyone had questions. Everyone tried to figure out who would want to take Clarissa's life, or were those bullets even meant for her in the first place. Many blame Chinaman for allegedly knowing he had a target on his back, but still having Clarissa around, putting her life in danger as well due to the street dealings he played in. However, new information have since came out about the situation that may shock everybody, which included another individual that was present that we didn't even know about. Recently, an arrest had been made for another person's involvement who seemed to be the ringleader of the shooting that left the young mother deceased. And that person happens to be Chelsea Harris, aka Miss Chin. Harris was indicted on September 12, 2024 for her involvement and have been since charged with murder for hire, conspiracy, resulting in death and personal injury. Law enforcement believes 23-year-old Chelsea Harris was paid to set up Chinaman, who was the driver, the night the incident occurred. We haven't got any official word, but rumors will hit social media stating that Harris was there the night everything went down. According to sources and hearsay, Harris was present, and in fact, she was only there with Chinaman and Clarissa because they were allegedly supposed to engage in an intimate act together. Upon leaving the restaurant, she would go back inside the restaurant because she says she left something inside. It was in the duration of her going back inside when a shooting would take place, leaving both the driver and passenger to become victims. Law enforcement was able to prove Harris's involvement and tie her to the shooting after finding evidence in her cell phone. Keep in mind, although all of this is hearsay at the moment, it would make sense when you put two and two together, because everyone was asking why were they just sitting in the car waiting there after Clarissa is seen getting into the car. Sources say at that time they were allegedly waiting for Harris. It will also make sense because it seems like the suspects who shot into the car knew the perfect time to strike, as if they were tipped off about the whereabouts of the car, and surveillance showed that clearly the suspects were dressed and prepared to come by that area to do one thing and one thing only, which was to take the driver's life, but instead, Clarissa Burgos would end up losing hers. Now as for Chelsea Harris, she's a Miami, Florida native, and that's where she was caught. According to the indictment, she would be extradited back to New York to be charged, and they would take everything from there. To make everything more clear, let's read exactly what the sealed indictment describes transpired and what led them to capturing Chelsea Harris. The sealed indictment documents will read, quote, "In or about December 2023, in the Southern District of New York and elsewhere, Chelsea Harris, aka Ms. Chin, the defendant, and others known and unknown, willfully and knowingly combined, conspired, confederated, and agreed together and with each other to travel in and cause another person to travel in interstate and foreign commerce with intent that a murder be committed in violation of the laws of a state in the United States as consideration for the receipt of and as consideration for a promise and agreement to pay a thing of pecuniary value which resulted in personal injury to one person and the death of another person. To wit, Harris and others conspired to lure an individual, victim 1, to locations in New York City where victim 1 could be shot, and on or about December 24th and December 26, 2023, Harris, in exchange for a cash payment from co-conspirators, lured victim 1 to a nightclub in Queens, New York, where gunmen shot and injured victim 1 and unalived Clarissa Burgos, who was with victim 1. So in other words, there would be more arrests coming. Right now, they're accusing Harris of being the one responsible for luring the driver into certain areas so he could be shot, presumably because whoever she was tied to, those are the ones that really wanted the driver dead. She was paid for her role and everything, and I'm more than sure she's going to end up cooperating with law enforcement about who put her up to this, because they know that she isn't the one that had the initial idea to take the driver's life. There's a bigger motive, a bigger agenda, and Harris was just used because she had ties to the target. Now, they didn't specify many things as of yet, but I'm curious to know whoever put up to this, how did they know that she had ties to him? Was it due to social media and them having mutual friends? Was she the one that actually set it up because she seen that he had money? Which one was it? Whatever it was, the guys that did the shooting, I'm sure they will end up in prison as well very soon. And whoever paid her to do such things will also be brought into custody because she's definitely going to cooperate. The crazier part about all this is she's a Florida native. So she came all the way to New York, like the indictment said, with the plan of doing something like that and going back to Florida as if nothing ever happened. That must be a messed up feeling. You have to be a real cold-hearted individual to know that you willingly put yourself out there to set guys up to lose their life, all for the sake of money. When you really think about it, is money that serious to where you are willing to go to depths of having someone lose their life just so you can make money? Why? Just to buy designer clothes and post it on social media? Buy a little car and look like you winning when in reality, you're committing one of the biggest sins just for money or monetary gain. But not only that, how do you deal with yourself knowing you tried to set someone up and someone innocent ends up losing their life, all because you wanted some money? Fellas, let this be a lesson. Be careful who you meet. Be careful who you accept in your inner circle. Be careful, be careful, be careful. Because even when you look at the girl that's in the pictures and she's the one accused of setting the person up, she don't even seem like the type to carry something like this out or even be capable of doing such things. But I guess looks are deceiving, and like they say, money is the root of all evil. So on that note, now that y'all know what happened, as more continue to come out, I'll continue to keep you guys updated. This story just took a crazier turn, worse than I expected, and I'm sure that there will be more people that was involved. Y'all jump in the comments and let me know what y'all think about this. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Hit that bell so you're notified every time we drop new content. And remember, as long as you keep on watching, I'ma keep on dropping. And I'm out.